Bond, the Fox Sin of Greed, maybe the most famous character from the popular anime called The Seven Deadly Sins, or Nanatsu no Taizai. Well known for his melancholy demeanor, fans have fallen in love with the show's immortal masochist. Therefore, he is, of course, one of the most sung-about characters in the nerdcore community. Different nerdcore artists have taken different approaches to his character and created amazing music, some of which I listen to every single day. I am the Anime Over Analyst, and today I am going to go over my list of top 10 favorite Bond songs from the nerdcore community. My only rule for this video is that the song must be completely about Bond. That means, for example, no verses from rap ciphers. Also, before I begin, I just want to mention that I do like all of these songs individually, and I believe that all of these artists are extremely talented. If I state a negative aspect about a song, just know that I do not mean that I dislike the song. There are just some room for improvements in my eyes. And of course, this is all my opinion, so I am sure that your list may be different than mine. As it is, my top 5 moves around so much on a day-to-day basis, it is a challenge ranking them against each other. Anyway, feel free to comment down below about what you think about my list. I enjoy interacting with the tiny community that I am slowly building, and I love hearing what you guys have to say. Anyway, that is enough of me rambling. Let's start off with number 10. So, number 10 is called Bond Rap by None Like Joshua and produced by Tyler Clark. Right off the bat, I love the instrumentals that Tyler Clark created for this track. The solo piano in the beginning leads up to a powerful symphony of strings that resembles the show's OST. However, as the strings build up to a crescendo that leads to the song's hook, the beat morphs into choppy dubstep that seems extremely out of place. NLJ's delivery of the hook seems forced, like he is trying too hard to make the beat work. It seems like he's trying to hype up Bond as a character instead of actually talking about him. That being said, NLJ kills it with his verses. I love how he puts himself in Bond's shoes as he talks to Elaine. It makes the song feel more like a love song to Elaine, which makes sense with this character. To Bond, Elaine is everything to him, and living without her hurts him. It is that sentimentality that I really think NLJ really embodies in this song. So really, the only reason that this song is at number 10 is just because I think the hook could use some cleaning up. I guess that goes to show how good these artists really are.
Nah, I ain't playing anymore.
Coming in at number 9 is Shwabadi's song Fox's Sin. Just like NLJ, Shwabadi really takes on Bond's persona and puts even more emotion into it. I really enjoy the hook and feeling that goes behind the lyrics. Both verses are really well written and they are expertly delivered. So, why is this song so low on the list? Well, the answer lies in the beat. Simply put, the beat is just mediocre. Don't get me wrong, it isn't bad, it just really doesn't compare as well to the rest of the songs on this list. I feel like there isn't really anything else for me to say except that it is just a good song. It's nothing that I would listen to every day, but I wouldn't mind coming back to it every once in a while.
Yeah. So I get to see her smile again.
For the 8th Bond song on my list, I have GameboyJones' song Gone. GameboyJones takes a really unique approach on delivering his verses. He goes from full-on rapping to a slower, more melodic type of rap style, and then back again. His storytelling lyrics is backed by an insane flow as well as decent mixing of his voice. For the most part, this song is incredibly engaging. The only drawback for me is the hook, and really, it is the last line of the hook that bothers me. He builds up a really nice flow, but then breaks off of the rhyme scheme at the last minute with the line, "Every day I feel mental." Now, by itself, this line is really powerful. Unfortunately, the break is so jarring for me, the impact that the line is supposed to deliver is lost upon me. Otherwise, I enjoy listening to the rest of the song. Taking up the 7th slot is Falling Apart by Fabvl, featuring DizzyEight. Both Fabvl and Dizzy channel their inner Bond in different ways. Fabvl channels more of the anger that Bond feels about his life, and is able to place that emotion behind every single word in his verses, making them super impactful. Likewise, Dizzy also channels a type of anger, but it is more in a sense of exasperation than Fabvl's. There is an element of sadness in Dizzy's tone that is not present in Fabvl's verse, and I enjoy listening to it. Also, did I mention that this song has a fantastic guitar solo? The guitar solo is actually my favorite part of the song. Really, this song would be higher up on this list, except that sometimes Fabvl's voice comes out extremely electronically. I hesitate to use the term autotune, for I don't think it's quite that. Anyway, there are times where I feel detached from the song because the voice is so jarring. If that got mixed a little bit better, I definitely think this song would be higher on this list. As it is, it falls under number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Connor Quest's song Still Feel Pain, featuring HalaCG. Now, a fun bit of trivia is that this song came out when Connor went by Connor Rapper before he had changed his branding to Connor Quest. That piece of trivia aside, Connor takes a slightly different approach to Bond than the previous entries. Still embodying the character, Connor tackles his story through the lens of Bond's depression and delivers his verses extremely convincingly. Every time I listen to his verses, I feel the words he is saying, and I believe every single one of them. His flow is on point and is well synced up to the beat. Also, HalaCG did a good job performing the hook. I think that her voice could have been mixed a little bit better since it sounded a little flat at times, like she only had a limited vocal range. Otherwise, I really like what she brought to this song, and I believe that this song is incredibly underrated.
Stealing to survive, parents never cared. I had to learn to fight with a figure I can learn from. Crave eternal
Starting off the top 5 is Divide Music's Foxin, featuring Zach Boucher. From the first note, it feels like I am transported into the song. The beat mesmerizes me to the point where all I can do is just vibe to it. Simply put, this song is a bop. I love how Divide puts up the emotion in his voice during his verse. He starts off slow, and as he builds, I can really hear the pain in his voice, as if he really was Bond reflecting on himself. Also, as the intensity in his voice increases, so does the beat in a way where they are both in sync so that they can only complement each other. The increased build-up pays off so well with the last line of the verse, "I can't die anyway." The way it is delivered makes me feel genuinely bad for Bon, which is amazing. Then we get the hook, which is like a rock anthem orchestrated by Divide's amazing voice. Like his verse, the way he syncs up with the beat is so on point, his voice becomes an instrument in its own right. Finally, we get Zach's verse, and he just kills it. He takes a softer approach at first, and then the way he communicates makes it sound like he is genuinely talking to me. Zach has mastered the art of flow switches to the point where he can fluidly transition from one flow to another without skipping a beat. He smoothly builds up in his verse until he reaches his climactic line. I couldn't finish it, damn it. Which is what Bon told Elaine as she died in his arms. I love this song so much. I even enjoy the little bit of screamo at the end that comes in as a surprise. I do admit that it caught me off guard at first, but after several repeated listens, I have gotten used to it. Still, I think the song would have been perfectly well off without it, but I welcome the inclusion.
Here's a story, one that's not of glory, and if you want to know about me, it is mandatory.
Taking up my number 4 spot is DaddyPhatSnaps' song Greed. DPS is a master of storytelling rap. Of all the songs on this list, this one is the best in conveying Bond's story. Like all the others, DPS tells the story in Bond's perspective. However, it is like he is telling it to me from some unknown future, like we are old war buddies. It is not until the last verse when he addresses the person that he's talking to as Meliodas, which is a really nice, subtle reveal. In a way, this entire song is Bond owning up to his feelings towards his friend that he eventually betrays. DPS really hits the point home in his hook. His voice carries so much mixed emotions in it. There is so much pain in his voice, as if he is truly fighting himself, overcome with grief for Elaine, as well as the anger and disappointment that he holds towards himself. The way DPS is able to deliver this story is so powerful, I had to put it as number 4 on my list. It feels so wrong placing it anywhere lower than that.
It's all I know is pain, it is always the same. In another 100 years, I will still be to blame. 'Cause I am the fire that'll burn the match. 'Cause everything I touch turns to ash.
Now I am onto my top 3. So of course, taking the 3rd spot is yet another Divide music song. When coming up with this list, I debated on only including one of them. However, they are both so good that I just settled down with both. This song is such a good song to vibe out to. Divide's music is so soft and calming. This is truly a love song from Bond to Elaine. Instead of holding anger and pain in his voice, like almost all the other songs on this list, Divide just sounds so sad. It's like he has become so numbed by the pain of losing Elaine, he doesn't feel pain anymore. Just sadness. It is due to that sadness that really drove Bond towards being a masochist, and I really love how this song illustrates that. In a non-self-harm kind of way, of course. That being said, the reason why this song is placed on number 3 is just because it's such a great song to vibe out to.
I saw the whole world down for you. If you want me to.
Zach Boucher takes up the 2nd place spot on the list with the song Whole World featuring Dana Salah. So this is probably where my bias really comes out. I love Zach Boucher's music. If you know anything about me or this channel, probably know that I enjoy vibing out to music. Hence, that's why my top 5 songs are great songs to vibe out to. Zach is so good at what he does, I can put on a playlist of just him and lose track of time altogether. He is one of my favorite artists to listen to, if not my top favorite artist. In this song, I love how much meaning he puts into his words. He has such a soft and subdued voice that works well with the jazzy, slow beat, and it is only enhanced by Salah's hook. The entire song is just so extremely smooth. It is easy to forget that it is about Bond. Zach delivers his verses with every syllable having an extreme amount of emotional meaning behind them. In a way, he is much like DaddyPhatSnaps, except he keeps his emotions much more subtle, which is more in line with Bond's character. For most of the show, Bond has bottled up his emotions, choosing to hurt himself physically so that he could ignore his emotional pain. I can hear that emotional pain through Zach's voice, as if he is channeling real-life emotions into his words. I really feel it when he ends his last verse with, "So why the fuck do I resort to tears?" It is because of that subtle emotion that I placed this song at number 2.
I can't escape it cause you get a hold every time. Won't you get out of my mind? Life that you gave me back when I was ready to die. Why am I even alive? I was so taken back. You got a reason for life, and it gives meaning in mine.
I know that we'll both survive.
Now, finally, coming in at number 1 is Survive by Rustage featuring DaisyBanaisy. Okay, I'm going to get a little sappy here. I don't generally like putting my emotional feelings out there into the world, but as I have been making this list, I have come to really realize how much this song means to me. So yeah, this is your sappy warning. So, during the summer months of quarantine, I would often go on long walks by myself just to do something. I didn't have anyone to really talk to, and it wasn't like I could go and hang out with my friends anyway. So I would often walk for hours and hours on end, often losing track of time just to try to deal with the intense feeling of loneliness that I felt at every single moment. Don't get me wrong, I am extremely fortunate in my life, and I thank the powers that be for dealing me a better hand than a lot of people. I'm not overly religious, but sometimes I really think it's a good idea to just acknowledge the fact that I am lucky that I have the time to worry about loneliness. That being said, it is on these lonely walks that I decided to listen to Rustage's music. I started off by just listening to tracks of characters that I knew about. I thought they were all pretty good, but most were not something to go nuts over. Until I heard this song. Within the first 5 seconds, the song was saved to my favorite songs playlist. I was mesmerized by Daisy's soft voice as she sang the hook, and, in a way, I felt like the song was about me, in a selfish kind of way. All I needed to hear was, "I know that we'll both survive," and that helped me stay confident and moving from day to day. Hearing Rustage's voice as he emulates the pain that Bond felt when losing Elaine really hit home to me on these walks. Each verse has incredible climactic bars that hit so hard at home, I almost feel like I am even the character of Bond. Rustage sounds incredibly lonely in his deliveries of these verses, and the subdued dubstep beat only enhances his meaning. Not only is this a song that I love vibing out to, it is a song I connect with almost in a spiritual level. No, it may not be critically the best song on this list, but it is the one I am most connected to. That is why it takes up my number 1 spot on my favorite Bond songs produced by the Nerdcore community. Thank you everyone who made it to this point in the video. This list was incredibly difficult to make, and I spent days trying to make this happen. Initially I wanted to wait until I had purchased an actual quality microphone, not this Corsair headset that I'm currently wearing. However, as I started compiling my list and writing out the script, I realized how badly I really wanted to put this video out there. So, here it is. That being said, I do have a goal that once I reach 100 subscribers, I will purchase an actual microphone. Until then, I am sticking with this microphone. Anyway, once again, I really want to thank you all for watching this video. It means a lot to me, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. I have been the Anime Overanalyst, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.